Good morning, everyone. I am at my friend's apartment here in Adachi in Tokyo, which is really exciting. But while I'm here, I wanted to do a little bit more research on my family. For those of you who don't know, I am a quarter Japanese on my mom's side, so my grandmother is 100% Japanese. Yay! I've been in Japan for about 3 years now. And when I first got here, the goal was to kind of find my family and like reconnect and I don't know, just learn more. The first 2 years, maybe I wasn't very proactive. I did send a few emails, and unfortunately, like the addresses and phone numbers, all those don't exist anymore because the documents that I had were extremely old. I think like the oldest one was like almost 50 years old, so of course those places don't even exist anymore. Um, Last year, my grandmother passed away. So the motivation kind of got a little bit stronger for me to find my family and also find my mother's mother, because at the end of my grandmother's life, she was kind of asking about her. So yeah. So today I want to talk about Koseki, and this is something that was a little confusing for me. So the Koseki is basically like life history, I guess. I don't know. Some people compare it to like a birth certificate. I'm not 100% sure, but it is a family record, so it contains things like birth, death, marriage, adoption, all those kind of life events that occur. So my goal was to obtain the Koseki, and I did it. I did it. I got one of my grandmother's Kosekis. So my grandmother was born in Adachi, so it's super convenient that I have a really good friend that I can stay with in Adachi. And so what? Today is Wednesday. On Monday, so I live in Kobe. So I took the train up here for a week, and as soon as I got here on Monday, a friend of mine and I went to the city hall and gave all these documents, and we were able to get the Koseki. So in order to get the Koseki, you need to one know where your family is from. So my grandmother just said, "Oh yeah, I'm from Tokyo." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. This should be easy." So there's 23 wards in Tokyo. You need to know which ward. And luckily, I was able to find that out because I did have a copy of my aunt's Koseki, um, and it did have my grandma's address in Adachi, which was super super helpful because the form when you request does ask for that. So I got that, and then I had to prove relationship. So I just did that with my birth certificate, my mother's birth certificate, and then my aunt's Koseki. And then also the cool thing is I have my grandmother's very old Japanese passport, which has her information. I think this passport was specific for her to immigrate to the United States. Before, I'm going to read this to you. Before I went to Adachi City office, and you can do it by mail too, but I wasn't sure what you needed, so I just contacted them, and my Japanese is horrible, so I did it in English. So their response was, "To Mr. Daniel, thank you for your email inquiries. Will we respond from the Adachi City office Koseki Juminka Koseki Shomai Kakari section. In order to request family register Koseki, you need to clarify your relationship. If you find out your family relationship with the certificate, your mother's birth certificate, and your birth certificate. Sometimes English isn't always perfect. Please translate the birth certificate into Japanese and translate the signature of the translator. You can translate them yourself. Please bring your driver's license and passport for confirmation of the person who comes to the office. When requesting the Koseki, there are also other things to note. Since there is a blank to fill in domicile in the application form, please make it possible to write your domicile in Adachi-ku. Please check in advance for death certificate and Koseki of your aunt, because the place of birth and domicile of origin are not necessarily the same. Please decide what you need out of your grandmother's Koseki. For example, from birth of your grandmother to adoption, Koseki containing grandmother's death. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. So my situation's a little unique. So if your family's still alive, they can just go request the Koseki for you, and that's the easiest and simplest way. In my specific situation, my grandmother was born Shimizu, but she was adopted when she was, I think, 16 years old is what the Koseki translated as, what my friend translated as. Um, and I've totally lost track what I was saying. And oh yeah, yeah. So she was born Shimizu, and then she became Ota, and that was for the purpose of possibly arranged marriage. And so she left the Shimizu Koseki and went to the Ota Koseki. So when I went to Adachi office, they could only give me the records up until she left Adachi. So she left the Koseki and went to the Ota Koseki, but then she also moved to Fukushima. So unfortunately, I have to request yet another Koseki, yeah, from Fukushima. And right now, I'm trying to figure out where exactly that is. I know where Fukushima is, but where exactly in Fukushima? Because there's like 5 cities listed in the Koseki for different people, so I have to narrow that down just a little bit. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that would be important to talk about this. This is like, I'll show you guys what the Koseki looks like really fast. Woo! So what I have is my grandmother's Koseki from Adachi. And then I have my grandmother's father's Koseki, and then his father's Koseki. So, and this goes back all the way to like the Edo period. I think the earliest mention is like 1818. So I knew my great grandfather's name, and I knew like my grandmother's brothers and sisters' names, but I didn't know much about their history or where they lived or anything like that. So this has been like super, super exciting for me. And I think I'm going to end this video now because I think it's already getting too long. But I definitely want to make more videos just on this process. So I will keep everyone up to date. So see you!